After a lull, India's retail inflation in July soared past way beyond the tolerance ceiling of the Reserve Bank of India and that of common people too. The central bank has a mandate to keep inflation at 4% with a tolerance band of 2 to 6%. Retail inflation hit a 15-month high of 7.44% for July, a steep jump from 4.81% in the preceding month. Surging food inflation, which was 11.5% in July, pushed retail inflation to this level. Consumer Food Price Index accounts for nearly half of the consumer price basket. In the latest meeting, RBI's MPC kept its stance hawkish while revising upward the Q2 FY24 inflation forecast by 100 bps to 6.2%, although it kept the policy rate unchanged at 6.5%. Meanwhile, experts believe that record low August rain is likely to pose another set of problems going forward. High retail inflation has sent the alarm bells ringing in the power corridors. The central government was already in a firefighting mode for a while now. It has taken a series of measures to boost supplies of essential food items, including rice, onion, and tomato. Recently, it ruled out lifting the ban put on wheat export. Rice export too is facing curbs, and the government recently added basmati in the list by imposing a minimum export price. Onions too are facing 40% export duty, and the government has started procuring it at the export rate to calm the nerves of protesting farmers. At the same time, the National Cooperative Consumer Federation of India has started selling onions at a subsidized rate of 25 rupees a kg. In June this year, the government reportedly announced to import 12 lakh tons of tur dal in the current fiscal, up by 35% from the last year to contain price rise. It had put a curb on sugar exports too last year. And recently, it slashed the domestic LPG prices by 200 rupees. The subsidy has been packaged as a Rakhi and Onam gift by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. According to a Reuters report, the government will have to spend an additional 4,000 crore rupees for the enhanced cooking gas subsidy, in addition to over 7,600 crore rupees it has budgeted for the current fiscal year. In Delhi, the decision will bring down the cost of a 14.2 kg cylinder to Rs 903 per cylinder. Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana households will receive it for Rs 703 per cylinder.
The effectiveness of these measures can depend on a variety of factors, including the nature of inflation, like be it a supply side or a demand side. We need a better coordination with the state governments and central. Of course, we need to address the supply side measures to control inflation. Supply chain disruptions also are imperative in this. At the same time, control hoarding and black marketing of essential commodities. Of course, a balance of demand and supply needs to happen. Additional measures will have to be taken.
We've had one of the driest monsoons of several decades. So price rise could worsen. And I believe there'll be more SOPs. Probably even LPG cylinder subsidy might be increased, as it's been promised by several state governments already.
A national daily citing a recent CSDS survey has indicated that 13% of the respondents saw inflation as their biggest issue ahead of the elections. According to a leading national daily, studies have suggested that inflation has been one of the key factors during elections, although not the main. The results over the years have varied for the incumbent parties. Like in 2009, UPA won the election despite inflation crossing the 10% mark. So, do the government's political fortunes depend on inflation this time?
Several factors that contribute to an electoral verdict. But yes, inflation is a crucial factor. Historically, we know BJP lost its Delhi government in 1998 because of rising onion prices. It wasn't such a big factor going by the Lokpriti CSDS data in 2019. But the last few months would tell you that is again becoming a factor. In Karnataka, for example, Congress made it the LPG cylinders as a symbol of inflation, and the Prime Minister has spoken frequently since then how his government has succeeded compared to previous governments in controlling inflation. So I guess it'll remain a poll blank, and you'll see both the center and the state governments as well as the opposition talking about it.
Of course, there will be substantial impact on it with regard to inflation, with regard to price hikes. But we are seeing a trend more than these issues. India is having a trend of voting for a leader or a face.
Inflation control measures might disturb the government budget maths, but it will soothe the nerves of the common man who has been hit by soaring prices. Experts believe as the 2024 election approaches, the government's ability to manage inflation may be a pivotal factor in determining its political fate.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.
He's about to land his dream job. Business Standard.